The next thing I'd like to do, because I know from my management team they like to see graphs and pictures with their reports, is I'm going to show you how easy it is now to add a graph to that report. With Excel tools, we've got a series of tabs across the top there for different ribbons. I'm going to choose the Insert tab. When you're doing this, sit back in your offices, the tabs and the ribbons may look different. We're currently using Excel 2010. In here, I've got the option to add a series of different chart types. I'm going to begin by adding my personal favourite, which is a block column chart in 3D. Because I've already had the data I wanted to create a chart against, my cumulative data highlighted, it automatically brings up a block chart as simply as that. I can see clearly the values at the left-hand column there, and along the bottom I can see my 12 periods. However, one thing I do immediately notice is I'm not sure which each of those colours represents, because it tells me simply Series 1 to Series 5. I want to know which of those colours is which year. Let me start that again. I'm going to extend my range now to include the text on the left-hand side where it says cumulative sales 2006 to 2010. I'm going to do exactly the same as I did before. Click on Insert, click on Column, 3D Column. Instantly, it's done exactly the same before, but it recognises now where my series are called cumulative sales 2006 to 2010. As easy as that. It looks a bit squished right now. All I need to do to improve the look of that is just drag it over like so. And because I'd rather not obscure all the data that I've put in that report, I'm just going to drag the whole thing down and place it underneath my cells like so. And I now have my graph that everyone likes to see. Another thing we'll notice about that graph is 2006 is currently in the fore and 2010 is currently at the back. You'll probably all agree it would be better if it was the other way round. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to choose the option to select data. By choosing that, it opens the Select Data Source wizard. On the left hand side I can see my legend entries there, 2006 at the top, 2010 at the bottom. I can change the order they appear simply by highlighting them and using the down arrows or up arrows to move them like so. And by doing that, I'm actually moving 2006 to the back and 2010 to the fore. Click OK, and you can see instantly how the graph has changed shape. It doesn't have to be a column graph. As I said, that's my personal favourite, but you can easily create graphs of all other shapes and sizes. You can even change them quite easily after you've done this. In Excel, we've now opened this Chart Tools section of the ribbon. If I click on the Design tab there, I can choose on the very left there to change the chart type. If I click on that, it opens up a whole range with pictorial references of all the different charts available to me. Let's have a look at one of these here now, see what that looks like. And there I've got a spike chart giving me the same information. Nice and quickly, easily done. Personally, I find that one a little bit prickly. So I'm going to choose Change Chart Type again. I may prefer a line chart, like so. I may even prefer, quite simply, an area chart, like so. I can even produce it in 3D if I want, quite simply by selecting a few of the different chart types that Excel represents. The end result here is I've made this report now just look a little bit more professional. I feel fairly confident that by adding that little bit of formatting, making it look a bit more professional, increasing the data that we've reported on by using those 100 codes so that we can get cumulative sales included on the report, I've given it a graphical representation using Microsoft Excel graphs, nothing we've introduced. We've improved the look and feel of the report to give you a whole host of different graphs easily reproduced at a moment's notice. So I'm confident I can actually give that to one of my management team as a professional looking report to say this is our customer net sales. However, at the moment, it's only telling me those customer net sales for one particular customer, Linton Alarm Distribution. If I presented that to my manager and I said, here's customer net sales, they'll probably come back to me and say, well, what do I do if I want to see it against a different customer? Well, I might say, you can type in the new customer code in that cell like so. So I'm going to put ABAPO1 in there, press enter, and it automatically updates all the values for that new customer. It tells me who that customer is, AB Applications, and if I just scroll down and look at the graph is updated to include those new values. Well, my manager would probably say to me, that's all very well, Ian, but I don't know all the customer codes in Exchequer. So how do I know what code to place in there? Let's introduce a new function to this report. There is a series of functions available in the OLE links called the ent select functions. In this case, I'm going to add ent select customer. Again, I need to point it at my company code, so I'm selecting it from the right company. And I'm just going to leave ABAP01 in there as a starting point. So no different, no change, it still shows me the same values for the same customer. What it does give me is if I now double click on that cell, like so, it opens up a select customer dialog box, which allows me to search for that customer in the same way you can search for customers in Exchequer currently. If I just remove the ABAPO1 reference and click Find Now, because there's nothing in there, it automatically lists all my customers by account code. I can scroll through that list until I find the customer I want, in this case Astra Communications Limited, double click on that, and it will return the code to the spreadsheet, updating all the values for Astra Communications Limited, including, of course, because it's all integrated, the chart. And there are different ways I can search for that customer. Again, I double click on that field, and rather than just searching through my hundreds and hundreds of customers from A to Z, I know I've got a customer that starts with the name Bournemouth. I change from account code to account name because it's the account name I want to search in. I click Find Now, and it's returned the Bournemouth International Centre. Again, I double click on that, and it's returned the Bournemouth International Centre to the customer code, updating the values, and of course the graph interactively. Like so. There's even more ways we can search. We've got options in there to search by the alternative code. So any of you who use the alt code, you can search by that. The tax code, if you know the tax code of the customer, you can use that to search by. Phone number, postcode, the invoice to, and a few more as well. I'm going to just return to our trusty lint alarm distribution for now to bring the results back as so. And what else can I do? That's brilliant now. As a manager, I'm quite happy with this report. I can open it up from a shared drive on the network. I don't need to ask anyone for it. I can easily find the customer I want to analyse, I want to have a look at, see how well our sales are doing against them. But how do I analyse those values? At the moment, all I've got is period balances. I want to know what makes up those balances. Well, one thing I can do is open up Exchequer. I can log into Exchequer and I can find the customer. I can go to their ledger and then have a look through all their transactions. Am I in the right period? Another thing I could do is go and ask my finance team, my accounts team, and ask them to produce a report to tell me what makes them up. Or, while still in the spreadsheet, I can pick one of those values, double click on the cell, and it will bring up the customer net sales list for that period and year for that customer. I've not added any new special functions to get that. That is built into the functions that we're already using in this spreadsheet. The screen itself is returning the reference number, so it's showing me any invoices and what their references are that make up the values, the date of those transactions, the account code, the quantities sold against those transactions, and the unit prices for those quantities. If I want to know a little bit more about any of those transactions, I can double click on it or click the view button on the right hand side there, and it will actually open up the transaction for me. So I can now see exactly what makes up that transaction. On that transaction, I've got all the information that's available to me in Exchequer. I've got my analysis tab that will show me my general ledger and cost centre splits. For those of you with the job costing module, you'll get a job view tab showing your job code and analysis codes used. And of course the footer tab, which shows us all the information we need to know from a VAT point of view, what discounts and settlement discounts have been arranged. Further still to that, if I want to analyse any one of those transaction lines, I can drill right down to the very detail of the transaction line to see exactly what's been entered against it. All quickly and simply from within the functions we already have. And that will work on any of those period functions there. As I say, simply double click, and then you can highlight your transaction and click the view, and it will bring up the transaction for you to analyse. All at a few clicks and the touch of a few buttons.
Can you fetch user-defined fields as well?
Yes, you are available to get certain user-defined fields, but not from transactions.
No, but if we've got our customers, we've added some user-defined fields, say
You can.
based in Aberdeen in the UK. Can you fetch those user-defined fields?
Yes, yeah, there are functions available to pull that out. Okay, so we've had a look at using select customer for a quick and easy customer search. Simply by adding in the function select customer, as I said, we've got select from most areas of the system. Stock is included in that, suppliers is included in that. Simply double click on the customer code where you've added that function in. That will open up your search dialog box where you can select your customer and return the values to your sheet. Your data drill down option with IRIS Exchequer OLE drill, further interrogation is only a double click away. Highlight the value you want to analyse. In this case I've chosen Theory 1 2006. Double click on it and it will open up your customer net sales. You can further drill down into that and open up the transaction itself.